I'm sure that you have heard of the phrase, a come to Jesus moment, right? Yeah, that's actually a common phrase that's gaining more and more popularity. I looked it up about a year ago. It really just started taking off, and it has entered popular conversation. And usually what it means is to recognize a new reality, to see things in a different way, to understand that however you were doing things, however you saw things, or whatever you thought was meaningful or mattered, doesn't mean anything doesn't matter, and that things should change and you should do things differently. Come to Jesus moment is this moment where you change directions and you change whatever you're doing. And I want to tweak that because while that's not wrong, that's not completely accurate, because of course the pop culture has taken this come to Jesus moment and removed the Jesus from the coming. Right? So it's not just that you have this understanding that something new is more important, or not just that you have this new way of doing something, it's that Jesus is the new way of doing the things. That the reason you do the thing is because of Jesus. The thing that is meaningful in your life is because of Jesus. The purpose is Jesus. And it looks an awful lot like our lives on a regular, everyday basis. We do this. We have solid plans that we strive for, that we're going to stay the course on, that we're going to keep going up the mountain. Hell or high water, we're going to make it happen. We've got these great plans, and sometimes they're really big, grand plans that take years to do, and sometimes they're just simple plans, like, getting through the week, right? Just trying to make ends meet sometimes is as big a plan as we can make. And then we realize something's not right. We have to switch gears. There's something missing. And there's two things that come into play whenever we change directions. The first is that the more strongly we hold something, that means that the thing that changes our mind has to be at least that strong. So it has to be that convincing, that powerful. And the things that are closer to our identity, the things that we identify as us, the things that are closer to our core, those are things that take even more convincing. So if you have an identity about who you are, then that means that you're going to hold on really tight to whatever that is. The perfect example of that is the midlife crisis man. The midlife crisis man. Okay, gentlemen, don't ever wear those shoes. Unless you're in a remake of Wizard of Oz, I don't think your shoes should ever glitter. And let's be honest, if you're in Wizard of Oz, you're not Dorothy. Midlife crisis man is a man who is in his midlife, and he has decided that he's going to live like he's 20 again, or at least try to look like he's 20 again. And he's going to do all the things in his power to make himself think, feel, act as if he were 20. And anybody who disagrees with him are just haters, and you know what? Haters are going to hate, so you can just get away with all that. And the thing is, while you're being so awesome, you think, I am so great, I am so awesome, I'm going to take a picture of myself, right, and how awesome I am, and you pull out your phone and you give yourself a selfie. You know what? You didn't realize that there's a dumpster fire in your life, that you had followed something completely wrong. And the thing is, casual conversation's not going to change that. And it's fun to make fun of midlife crisis man, but we all have failures. We all have hang-ups. Right? We all have these things that we are afraid of, that we don't want to change, that we can't change maybe. We like to hide our problems. Or maybe we hide our problems because we have fear, of people judging us. We don't want to be judged. Everything has to look pretty and perfect on the exterior. One of the cliches that I come across is supermom. Supermom has to do all kinds of things. What she has to do? She has to work, right? Because that's what you have to do. You have to also do all the things around the house. You got to clean. You got to cook. Don't forget to get the kids. All of them have soccer practice at different times and in different parts of the city. You have to be a loving spouse. And by the way, you have to be perfect in every single way because everyone else has it perfect, right? All the other supermoms have it perfect, so that means you have to have it perfect. There's the sandwich generation. Sandwich generation is somebody who maybe you have parents who are aging and you have to take care of them, as well as kids who won't get out of your house or maybe have come back in. This is a reality. Maybe it's not happening to you. Maybe you're dealing with other people's prejudices, and you have to deal with that. Maybe your boss, Maybe they're friends of yours. Maybe they're people that you just can't escape, but for some reason you have to engage with them, and they have prejudices. Or maybe you have to deal with your own prejudice, your own ways of thinking. Or maybe you just enjoy life too much. You've figured out that if you drink straight from the fire hose, it's better that way. And that's ruining your entire life and taking you away and keeping you from real things. And we laugh at midlife crisis man because it seems trite when we look at some guys who stand in front of cars that aren't theirs. And we say, oh, yeah, isn't that funny? But the venom of prejudice is the same venom in midlife crisis man. It's that they think that they understand everything. The guy who has the comb over that is just so obvious is the same one who thinks that he is more superior to somebody else because of fill in the blank. It all comes from the same understanding of closed-mindedness that we've got it all worked out and understood. And these hang-ups are real. And we all have them. We like to laugh at midlife crisis man, but we all have them. Just because you're not wearing an Ed Hardy shirt or your jeans don't have holes on them on purpose doesn't mean that you don't have hang-ups. I got them. We get them. Everybody gets them. Those are the things that we fill our life with. And when we do that, when we have these hang-ups and we start giving them attention, those are the tunes that we dance to. And then we forget about all the other things. We start worrying about how we look and, hey, this makes us feel good, or what other people think, what they want of us, or maybe what we want of them. And we start looking in the short term and looking for short-term gains, and soon enough there will be problems because there will be all kinds of things that we will order our life around, and those aren't the ways that which we are supposed to order our life. So I'm blown away when I encounter people who would take a part of their life and give it to God. So not last week, but the 3 weeks prior, went to North Carolina, went to Baton Rouge, had VBS. And I encountered many of you who gave hunks of your life to doing things for God. It was an amazing thing. I couldn't understand. Why would anybody want to do that? Why would anybody sacrifice vacation days? Think about how many vacation days you get a year. Would you take 7 of those vacation days off just so that you could, I don't know, hang out with kids? Is that something that sounds like fun for you? Yeah, okay. Well, you're not alone, but you're in the minority, George. It's an amazing thing. It truly is an amazing thing. Look, I just got back from camp a couple weeks ago. Had to wake up in the morning with the sun, 6 o'clock. Maybe for some of you that's too early. For me, that's not too early. I can do that. And then walk a mile, up a hill, 26 flights to get breakfast. Every day. Twice a day. Well, the other meal, yeah, you can call it breakfast. It was whatever they were being served. It was dinner, okay. Look, at my home and my bedroom, I have my bed situated so that I can just roll out of bed and I have to take the fewest steps to get to the bathroom. That's how we order our life. To decide that you're going to take vacation time off and then hike up a mountain at least 2 miles and at least 52 stories every day just so that you can eat doesn't sound like a vacation to a lot of people. But I tell you, it's a beautiful thing. And it happens over and over and over, and it's who we are. It's how we act. We disrupt our life for God. And that's really what happens. It's when we decide and we realize that what we can give to God, these sacrifices that we give to God, they may seem big, but really they're just a natural order of things. Because the things that move us through the dumpster fires of our life, they're not the things we put in our life, they're Jesus. They're those aha moments that God is calling us to something. They're more than ego, they're more than fulfilling our desires, they're more than going through the motions. Why would anyone climb a mountain for a week or fill dumpsters with moldy wood or brave packs of elementary kids day after day? And there's really only one reason anybody would brave elementary kids day after day. You can tell me, preach it, right, Elaine? It's Jesus. Now look, this is what Jesus said. If you listen to his word, he said you go to the market and the generation looks like this. You've got this pack of kids and they're saying, dance, 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 dance. And you've got another pack of kids that are saying, oh, cry, 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 cry. And the one who's saying, dance, 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 they look at John the Baptist and they say, hey, there's a man of God. How come he's so solemn and depressing? How come he's so horrible? And they dismiss everything he has to say, and they disregard him and don't listen to his words. And the ones that are saying, oh, cry, 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 they look at Jesus, and he comes to enjoy life. And he drinks and he eats, and they say, oh, look at this guy, he's a drunkard. And they dismiss what he has to say, and they disregard his way. And this is the way the world attacks us. This is the way the world is. I don't even want to say attack. This is the life we live. There's groups of people who say cry, 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 and groups of people who say dance, 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 dance. And maybe the words are different. Maybe they're saying come over, come over, come over. It doesn't matter whatever they're saying. We can join into those groups. And then when we get in those groups, we can get confused when the Word of God comes to us. So those who said, dance, 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 saw the Word of God in John, and it wasn't fitting what they wanted to hear, so they dismissed him. And those who said, cry, 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 looked at Jesus, and it wasn't fitting what they wanted to hear, so they dismissed him. And the message isn't whether you dance or whether you cry. It's that you will listen to those who say dance and those who cry. And you will find yourself with prejudice or with self-indulgence, with perfectionism, and you will be putting weight on your shoulders, holding you down, that you'll have to pull through life with, that doesn't need to be there. The message that Christ comes with is that you can get from underneath all of these things. Christ's message may seem extreme. Why would you climb a mountain up 2 miles a day, 52 stories? That seems extreme. Why would you do that? But his message is very clear that his yoke is light. And that when you submit and you give to Jesus, really, your heart, doing stuff like that is a joy. And you will be called to those things that you find joyful. And maybe it's not hiking a mountain. Maybe it's playing with elementary kids. God save you. Or maybe it's moving moldy furniture. Or maybe it's holding someone's hand and telling them how much they're loved in a hospital as their loved one goes through something. That when you finally say, yes, Jesus, I'm going to put on your yoke and not the world's yoke, there is no comparing the two. His yoke is incredibly light, and the ones that we put on that the world tell us that we need to put on are superfluous and holding us down and dragging us through the mud. And when you see that, you'll have had your come to Jesus moment.